Did you know that about 70% of entrepreneurs struggle with perfectionism? Shocking, right? While striving for excellence can seem admirable, it often does more harm than good. In fact, a study from the American Psychological Association shows that perfectionists are 30% more likely to experience burnout. That's a huge number. In the world of small business, time is money. When you spend too much time chasing perfection, you risk missing out on valuable opportunities. Think about it. Each hour wasted on perfecting a detail is an hour that could be spent growing your business. But here's the kicker: perfectionism doesn't just slow you down, it can actually destroy your passion and creativity. So, why is it so easy to fall into this trap? It's often rooted in fear of failure, fear of judgment, and even fear of success. In this video, we'll explore the hidden costs of perfectionism and provide you with practical strategies to break free. From understanding the 80-20th rule to embracing the idea of failing fast, you'll learn how to shift your mindset from perfection to progress. Ready to transform the way you work and live? Let's dive in and discover how to stop letting perfectionism hold you back and start building a thriving business. Chapter 1. The Perfectionist Trap. Why good enough is better than perfect. Perfectionism is a double-edged sword. Many entrepreneurs wear it like a badge of honor, thinking it's the secret sauce to success. But in reality, it's a trap. A study by Harvard Business Review found that 30% of high performers are perfectionists, but this often leads to burnout rather than breakthroughs. For small business owners, striving for perfection can be crippling. Every tweak, every minor detail, and every last-minute change slows down progress. Here's the truth: good enough is better than perfect. It sounds counterintuitive, but getting something done at 80% and improving later is far more efficient than waiting until it's flawless. Think of it like this: if Apple had waited for the iPhone to be perfect, they might still be refining version 1.0 instead of dominating the global smartphone market today. Done is always better than perfect because it means you're out there, learning and improving. Perfectionism is rooted in fear of failure, fear of judgment. But fear is the enemy of innovation. A quick fix? Shift your focus from perfection to progress. Entrepreneur and author Tim Ferriss advocates for minimum effective dose, doing just enough to see results. This means completing a task to the point where it's effective, then moving on to the next one. For small businesses, speed matters. Being first often beats being the best. Getting your product or service to market quickly allows you to gather feedback and make adjustments. Instead of perfecting a logo for weeks, put it out there and test the waters. You'll learn more in 2 days of customer feedback than in 2 months of design edits. Chapter 2. The Hidden Cost of Perfectionism. Time, money, and sanity. Perfectionism doesn't just cost you time, it drains your resources and mental energy. According to a study published in Psychological Bulletin, perfectionism is closely linked to anxiety, depression, and burnout. And as an entrepreneur, your mental health is your most valuable asset. Every hour you spend refining something beyond what's necessary is an hour taken away from growth, marketing, or building relationships. A report by QuickBooks shows that small business owners already work an average of 50 hours a week. Adding perfectionist tendencies into the mix only compounds the stress. But there's also the financial cost. Research shows that perfectionist behaviors can reduce productivity by up to 25%. For a small business, that's a big chunk of potential income left on the table. Let's say you're launching a website. A perfectionist might spend weeks obsessing over font size or color schemes. Meanwhile, a competitor who launches faster is already attracting clients, testing what works, and making money. Small businesses don't have the luxury of wasted time or resources. Focus on the essentials: what brings value to your customer. As best-selling author Seth Godin says, you don't need more time, you just need to decide. Set deadlines for decisions and stick to them. Imperfect action beats perfect procrastination every time. Chapter 3. Perfectionism Paralysis. How overthinking is stalling your growth. Perfectionism and overthinking often go hand in hand, leading to what's called perfection paralysis. This is when fear of imperfection keeps you stuck in one place, unable to make decisions. Sound familiar? You're not alone. Research from the University of Exeter found that perfectionists are more likely to procrastinate, despite their desire for success. In entrepreneurship, indecision can be deadly. Opportunities are fleeting, and overthinking slows you down. A common example is when entrepreneurs wait too long to launch a product because they're caught up in the minutiae. The result? They miss the chance to capitalize on market demand. But there's a way out. Break down tasks into smaller, manageable chunks. Instead of aiming to launch a perfect product, set a goal to release a minimum viable product, MVP. This concept, popularized by Eric Ries in the Lean Startup, encourages entrepreneurs to launch early with just enough features to attract customers. It's a way to test ideas without overthinking every single detail. Let go of the fear of failure. Thomas Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." For small business owners, this means embracing the idea that mistakes are part of the process. The quicker you make them, the faster you'll grow. Instead of spending hours reworking something, set a time limit. Give yourself 30 minutes to make a decision or complete a task, then move on. You'll find that most decisions don't need as much time as you think. If you're finding value in this content, be sure to subscribe for more insights and strategies to help you thrive as a small business owner. Chapter 4. The 80/20th Rule. How to focus on what really moves the needle as a small business owner. It's easy to get bogged down in details that don't really matter. But here's a game-changing strategy. The 80/20th Rule, also known as the Pareto Principle. This rule says that 80% of your results come from just 20% of your efforts. In other words, a small portion of your work is driving most of your success. Instead of spreading yourself thin trying to perfect everything, focus on that 20% that brings the most value. For example, maybe a handful of loyal clients bring in most of your revenue. Spend your energy nurturing those relationships instead of chasing new leads endlessly. Tim Ferriss, in his book The 4-Hour Workweek, emphasizes the importance of eliminating the non-essential. This is where the 80/20th rule shines. Focus on the core activities that grow your business, and let go of the busy work. Think about this. A study by the Journal of Business Venturing found that entrepreneurs who applied the 80/20th rule increased their productivity by an average of 40%. That's a big boost for something so simple. The key is to ask yourself, what's the one thing I can do today that will make everything else easier or unnecessary? That's where you should be spending your time. So, next time you find yourself tweaking something for hours, stop and think, is this part of my 20%? If not, it's time to move on. Delegate, automate, or simply cut out tasks that aren't contributing to your growth. Simplify your focus, and watch how your business accelerates. Chapter 5. Fail fast, learn faster. Embracing imperfection to innovate. Here's a reality check. Failure is inevitable in entrepreneurship. But instead of fearing it, you need to embrace it. The concept of fail fast, learn faster is all about taking action quickly, learning from mistakes, and iterating. The faster you fail, the faster you find what works. In fact, many successful entrepreneurs credit their failures for their success. Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx, once said, "Failure is not the outcome. Failure is not trying." Her approach to innovation involved launching imperfect products, learning from customer feedback, and adapting quickly. If you wait until everything is perfect, you'll never learn what your customers really want. The Harvard Business Review reports that companies embracing a fail-fast culture see 33% higher innovation rates. This shows that rapid experimentation, even with the risk of failure, often leads to breakthroughs. For small businesses, this mindset is critical. You don't have time or resources to perfect every idea before testing it. You need to put things out there, learn, and refine as you go. One practical way to implement this is through A/B testing. Whether it's a marketing campaign, a product feature, or even a website layout, create 2 versions and see what performs better. Tools like Google Optimize or MailChimp make it easy to test without waiting for perfection. Remember, it's better to fail early and improve than to delay and never make progress. So take risks, experiment, and view failure as a stepping stone, not a roadblock. Every failure brings you one step closer to success. Chapter 6. Progress over perfection. Building momentum and breaking free. The final chapter of breaking free from perfectionism is understanding the importance of momentum. In small business, slow progress beats standing still. Momentum is your greatest asset when growing a company. Once you start moving, it's much easier to keep going. But perfectionism? It's a momentum killer. Small, consistent actions build big results over time. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, talks about the 1% rule, the idea that tiny, daily improvements lead to massive changes in the long run. You don't need to overhaul everything at once. Just focus on making small progress every day. It's not about getting everything right, it's about staying in motion. For example, if you're working on a new service, don't wait until it's polished. Launch a beta version, gather feedback, and refine it. The feedback loop will give you much more insight than waiting until you feel it's perfect. Plus, each step forward builds momentum, motivating you to keep pushing. A fascinating stat from the Journal of Applied Psychology shows that people who set small, incremental goals are 20% more likely to achieve their larger objectives. For small business owners, this means breaking your tasks down into manageable pieces, moving forward bit by bit. Celebrate each win, no matter how small. These mini victories add up and fuel your journey toward bigger successes. So, when perfectionism starts creeping in, remind yourself, progress is the goal. Done is better than perfect, and small steps lead to big leaps. Keep moving forward, and you'll find that momentum is the real key to breaking free from the perfectionism trap. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to subscribe for more tips and strategies that will help you thrive in your small business journey.